hate policy in Hyderabad. The preamble to our constitution asserts that India is a secular nation. The meaning of a secular state is that it doesn't prioritize any one religion or its faith. Yet, as attempts to peddle hate are being made in Hyderabad, the crackdown has been selective. BJP MLA Raja Singh was arrested for insulting the Prophet. He has been released on bail, but hours after his arrest, the BJP suspended him and asked him to explain why he made those comments in the next 10 days. If his explanation cuts no ice, Raja Singh could be expelled from the party. However, a long rope has been given to AIMIM politician who chanted "Sar Tan Se Juda" during a protest march against Raja Singh. The selective crackdown by the Telangana police has raised questions on selective action. Are they open to calls of hatred permissible in our constitution? Watch this march of Owaisi's men and decide for yourself.
We want justice. 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 Raja Singh Mustaq Rasul ki hai ki jagah. Sardan se juda, sardan se juda. Mustaq Rasul ki hai ki jagah. Sardan se juda, sardan se juda. We want justice. 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 Raja Singh Mustaq Rasul ki hai ki jagah. Sardan se juda, sardan se juda. Mustaq Rasul ki hai ki jagah. Sardan se juda, sardan se juda. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice.
AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi, who till date hasn't condemned the comments his Member of Parliament Imtiaz Jaleel made, today fiercely questioned the BJP. He asked if they wanted to burn down Telangana with their hate. He was asked if this was the official policy of the BJP. But when Times Now confronted him about his own leaders, watch how quickly Asaduddin Owaisi left the conversation.
Sir, an open call was given to hang Nupur Sharma.
Thank you,
in
madam.
the middle of a large crowd gather. Sir, before I let you go, we need to play out that sound bite. If you can just respond to this, because you just asked Times Now for proof.
You can do it, but I have to go to the channel.
Let us show you what Imtiaz Jaleel has said. One answer, and then you can go. Small request, sir. Mr. Owaisi, can you hear me? Mr. Owaisi, we're playing out that reaction of Imtiaz Jaleel. You just put out that question to Times Now. You said that's not what he said, but we have it. Sir, we have the proof with us, and I want a response from you.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate tonight, Shriraj Nair, National Spokesperson of the VHP, Karan Verma, author. Also joining me tonight, Zubair Memon, political analyst. But my first question goes to Mr. Karthik Reddy, Spokesperson of the TRS. Mr. Karthik Reddy, we hold the Constitution really close to our heart. So I want to ask you the question. Good action taken by the TRS government in Telangana to maintain law and order and to put Mr. Raja Singh behind bars. The question is, why let off the others? Because a secular state means that law and order should be the same for everybody, and the constitution and the law of the land has to be applied equally. Why do we forget that when we take action against some people who are spreading hate?
Good evening, Navika. Let me tell you and let me assure you today, TRS party has a reputation intact. We will not let anybody who has disturbed peace or who has tried to disturb peace or anybody who has broken law to walk free. Today, Raja Singh was brought to books. Tomorrow, whoever has done the sloganeering has passed the threats, and most of them, if not all of them, will be brought to the book. And let's not equate blasphemy to sloganeering, Navika. The both are not the same. I'm not taking sides here. I do not want to take sides. And point two, if you remember, Navika, very carefully, there was a hate crime few months back where a person belonging to one religion killed a person belonging to another religion because of some marriage issue. And also, please, I want to remind you, when a minor was raped in a moving car in Hyderabad, similar doubts were raised on the TRS party because certain people were belonging to a certain party and they had their doubts that TRS would not act because these people belong to a certain party. And both these times, Navika, and I want to tell you, I want to point it out, that our reputation is intact. We do not take sides when somebody has broken the law. We will break the stick.
Okay. Mr. Shriraj Nair, we'll have to wait, but action will be taken. And Mr. Karthik Reddy says blasphemy is not equal to provocative statements and slogans. Respond to him.
Well, first of all, we have a very strong judicial system in this country. And I always said, even in on your channel also, that this nation gave the opportunity for a free and fair trial to even dreaded terrorists like Kasab and Afzal Guru. If anything wrong, what these people believe that Raja Singh has said, there is a judicial process. And let the due course of law go on. And if Raja Singh is found to be guilty, he will be punished by the courts. But here we have to go a little deep into it. This petty comedian called Munawar Farooqi every time has been ridiculing and mocking Hindu gods and goddesses. What about that? And we have to go a little behind. Akbaruddin Owaisi, whose brother left your channel in midway, he was the person to begin all these things. He was the person who ridiculed, mocked and spoke all kind of derogatory language against the Hindu gods and goddesses. A trial went on and after 5-6 years he was acquitted. So we are very sure that we have a very strong belief in the Indian judiciary. So we feel that let the judicial process go on. And if Raja is held guilty, he will be punished. Or if he is not, he will be let off like the way Akbaruddin Owaisi was let off and he is roaming free. And again uttering all sorts of nonsense against the nation and and against the Prime Minister also. So let us all respect the law and order of this great nation.
My issue, Mr. Zubair Memon, is not about who will be arrested when. My issue really is about why is there so much of hate that is being spread? Because we will have to get to the root cause of this entire issue, because ye sartan se juda kind of statements have become so commonplace today. They weren't like this a few years ago. I want to ask you, and let's not talk about the political dispensation because that's the normal argument. I'm just saying, what about the conscience of the people of India?
What?
Yes, Mr. Memon. I can't quite hear you.
In fact, Navika madam, you should not forget that he was the person who justified Sar Tanse Juda.
I can't quite hear him. Karan Verma, would you want? Can we just take? Can we just? Can you take that question?
Absolutely. Look, till we are going to have selective outrage, until we are not going to be united in approaching this radicalization which has crept in our society, we are going to continue having these sorts of chants. If you are going to arrest Raja and you are going to let go of people who are chanting Sartan Se Juda live on video and are not even showing any regrets or remorse for it, then we are asking for trouble. The same political parties who did not say a word when the Chistis were baying for Nupur's blood and were shouting from rooftops Sartan Se Juda want the harshest punishment for Raja. They don't talk about Asaduddin Owaisi. Asaduddin Owaisi's remarks indirectly or directly caused what happened to Kamlesh Tiwari in UP. Akbaruddin Owaisi is a habitual offender who has crossed lines of blasphemy. I mean, I wouldn't even call it blasphemous what he's done, and he's gotten away with it. So till parties like TRS or Samajwadi Party or all these parties who are high vote banks, till they have selective outrage,
let's not name any individual individual party. The problem is taking place from one state to another, Karan Verma. The question, Mr. Zubair Memon, is, Zubair Memon, I am not one of the votaries who will encourage any kind of blasphemy or any kind of words to be uttered against anybody's faith, and it is absolutely a no-no, and that's how we've all been brought up in this country, where the secular fabric, where the diversity is the beauty of India. But the question is, there has to be social responsibility as well. What about social responsibility? If you know, people don't start condemning these kind of statements and slogans coming from either side of the fence?
बिल्कुल, you are right in the question that there should be social responsibility. मैं दो points एकदम clear करना चाहूँगा कि hate इतनी देश में बढ़ क्यों रही है. इसका एक सादा सा उदाहरण है कि 2 दिन पहले राजा सिंह ने कोई स्टेटमेंट दिया, टीआरएस गवर्नमेंट ने उसके ऊपर स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन लिया और उसको अरेस्ट करके जेल में डाल दिया. इसी तरीके का कोई स्टेटमेंट नुपुर शर्मा ने दिया था. कई महीनों तक पुलिस उसको धड़ पकड़ ही नहीं पाई, उसके ऊपर एफआईआर होने के बाद में भी उसको पकड़ नहीं पाए. ये चीज थी हेड बढ़ाने के लिए. एंड सेकेंड थिंग, जो सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की आपने बात कही, बिल्कुल अच्छी बात कही. हर भारतीय के ऊपर सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, जिस तरीके से हमारे ऊपर है, मीडिया के भी ऊपर है. मुझे अच्छी तरीके से याद है कि नुपुर शर्मा आपके ही साथ टाइम्स नाउ पे ही डिबेट पे थी. ये स्टेटमेंट देने के 4 दिन बाद तक लगातार वो टाइम्स नाउ पे डिबेट पे आती रही. टाइम्स नाउ ने उसको ना उस डिबेट पे रोका और ना ही 4 दिन तक उसको रोका.
माफ कीजिएगा मेमन साहब, उस डिबेट पर भी उसे रोका गया था और उस डिबेट में भी कहा गया था कि देश चलेगा तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से चलेगा. मैं ये कह रही हूँ, एक मिनट मेमन साहब, कार्तिक रेड्डी, you know,
yes,
there is finger pointing all along. I just want to ask you that I'm not just talking about political response. Isn't there a requirement of equal treatment from the law and order machinery, as well as some discouragement coming from the social fabric and the societies at large in our country? Have we just given up social responsibility?
Last 75 years, if we ever have to take a period in independent India, Navika, I do believe we are at the lowest when it comes to social responsibility. People end up saying anything on the street, people end up saying anything in assemblies and parliament, people end up saying anything on national television. I do believe our social compass is lost, and as leaders, people who are running this country's political parties especially, if we have to talk about when Nupur Sharma or today Raja Singh has uttered what they've uttered.
It is condemnable. And it is condemnable without any ifs and buts.
Navika, that's a point I want to make. The moral leader of this country happens to be the Prime Minister. I do not want to point fingers today, as your question is beyond politics. I want to keep it as neat as possible. But the moral leader of this country is the Prime Minister. I beg with folded hands to the Prime Minister of this country, please put out a statement. Call for end of statements like these. अमन के लिए तो प्रार्थना करिए इस देश में.
Well,
I request the Prime Minister do this.
Do we have to wait for somebody to call us? Have we given leave to our own conscience, to our own souls? Is a question we'll have to ask ourselves. The question today is, while there is a secular tolerance that is required in this country and that is guaranteed in our constitution, why do we still continue to be selective in our outrage? The question is, why don't we condemn any statement, including Sar Tan Se Juda, is a question that will continue to be asked. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the NewsHour tonight. Good night, be safe.